We'll now talk about enrollment rates and how they affect time to event sample size calculations. We begin with a hazard ratio, testing for a hazard ratio of 0.7. Failure rates, we're saying we've got a 6-month control group median and censoring of 0.01 per month, which is about 1%. We've set 85% power and 0.025 one-sided sample size. We've set timing to be 2 equally spaced interim analyses. And now we're going to talk about sample size. Here's the boundaries, fairly conservative Huangshi-Takani bounds. So now we'll go to, again, we're on the time to event tab, and we're going to talk about enrollment. The 3 different ways to set enrollment. The most common is to fix the trial duration and fix the minimum follow-up duration, and this is the Lapine and Folks method for sample size calculations. For this, you're required to set an enrollment duration, a minimum follow-up duration, and we also set an enrollment ramp-up duration, which allows you to assume the enrollment is not up to full speed immediately. And you can see here that the equally spaced analyses at 33% is 100 events. At the final analysis, it's 298. But the sample size is 362 out of 494. So you can see even for the first interim analysis, you've enrolled most of your patients, even though you're only looking at 1/3 of the events. If we assume the enrollment took longer, let's say it took 36 months as opposed to 12 months that we had before, here we can see the sample size, relatively speaking, would be smaller at the interim analysis. So if you have very fast enrollment, you're unlikely to have any interim analyses before you complete your enrollment. Next, we look at varying the enrollment duration. We're assuming now that we can only get up to a certain enrollment rate per month. In this case, we're saying 10. Here we're going to say we're going to have a minimum follow-up duration of 6 still, and still have the same enrollment ramp-up duration. Now, this is just another situation, so the trial can take longer. Here we've got 47 months, whereas previously with fixed enrollment we had assumed 42 months. And so again, if we have a longer minimum follow-up duration, we'll need a slightly smaller sample size, and you can play with things here to see how the sample size and number of events change as you change your enrollment assumptions. The final possibility is to vary the minimum follow-up duration. This one tends to be problematic. Here we've still got something that works, but we've got a maximum steady-state enrollment. We've got a fixed enrollment duration, a fixed ramp-up, and what varies here is the follow-up duration. And often this will not work. If you have some parameter set, you'll see enrollment duration is insufficient to power the trial, or if you've got a very large time, let's say this is 30, enrollment duration overpowers trial. So you have to kind of find a sweet spot where this will do the sample size calculation. You can see it's pretty narrow here because we're changing from one to the other. So it'll be easier if you have a lower enrollment rate. So enrollment duration insufficient, you have to make it longer. And if its enrollment rate is too high, then you have to make it smaller.